Can you handle the truth? Can you handle the truth? You need to be out here handling the truth. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everybody. It's Make It Make Sense Monday. Yes, on the Noontime My Time Podcast. Welcome. It's episode number 59. I see I got Keep the Faith with Tori already in the building. Hey. She says I'm here. Go ahead and let me know, people, if you can hear me well. We're going to start this off the bat, and I want to know if you can hear me well, because you know what I do. Y'all know I'm like a gadget girl. You know I'm always changing stuff, changing mics and all kind of things. And yes, I have changed mics once again today. So I want to make sure that you guys are hearing me. So if you could put a 1 in the comments, if you can hear me well, just go ahead and put a 1 in the comment for me. Let me know. I hate to be up here talking to myself. Now, I've done it before, so, don't worry about my feelings. I can handle this truth. If I'm talking to myself, I'll be fine with it, but I want to fix it for you. All right? All right, I see Keep the Faith with Tori. She said, you're sounding great. All right. That's what I want to know. Thank you. All right, guys. Listen. It's Make It Make Sense Monday. So typically on these days, I want to have a conversation that makes sense. I want us to do that. We need to be able to have that type of conversation. Sometimes the truth might hurt a few feelings. Some people can drop a truth bomb and some people can't handle it. They got you out here sugarcoating everything. Mouth just full of cavities because it's just sweet. You're just sugarcoating everything. And we need to be able to have honest conversations. We need to be able to have difficult conversations and still be able to remain true to some facts beyond what your feelings are. And I don't know if we're doing a good job of that right now. As I look out into society, I just don't know if we are handling the truth well. It seems like we can't. It seems like we're not. And I want us to talk about it. I do. But before we talk about it, before we get deep into the conversation, you know what I like to do? I like for us to just take a little bit of time and kind of get some of that funk off of us that might be on us already today. And if it's not, then good. You're having a day like me. You're having a pretty good day, So what I want us to do is I want us to get into a little bit of breath work. You know how we do it. Let's do it real quick. Get into this breath work, do the breath work, and then we got to talk. What I want you to do is inhale to the count of 4. And we're going to hold it for a few seconds. And then we're going to exhale. And we'll hold that for a few seconds. And we'll repeat that a few times. Now, you can close your eyes if you're in a place that you can do that. I don't want you to do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're driving. Don't do that if you're actually sitting at the desk. If you got your headpods on, and you're taking a listen, we'll vibrate with us and listen. But if you can close your eyes, close your eyes. You want to take it a step further, put your hands over your heart and feel that you are alive. That's you. Let's get into it. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. One more time. Let's inhale. Hold it a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. Doesn't that feel great? I feel good. It's Monday. Happy Monday. If you are just joining us, we're having a conversation today and we're talking about telling the truth. Can you handle the truth? Can you? Your mission today here is just listening. If you want to join into the conversation, hey, join in. Let me know how you feel. Let me know. Because you know how we do it here. The conversation really involves you. You get into the chat. You say what you need to say, and we talk about it. But I wrote a post this morning, and I want to read a post that I made on Facebook, and my post went like this. I said, "Good morning, good people. Question. Can we have honest conversations? Can we discuss difficult topics and remain true in facts beyond feelings in our relationships, our friendships, and in society? Can we handle the truth? Are there things we really can't talk about? What y'all think? And what are some of those things? I want to talk about them today live at noon, right here. And that's what we're doing right here, right now. We're having the conversation. We're going through a whole lot of different things right now. And the value of having someone in your life who is going to tell you the truth, I don't know, you can't put a price on that. You can't. And you can be valuable to others. You can offer a truth that must be heard to help someone in their journey for growth. While it may be uncomfortable, it definitely needs to be heard. I want to say this. If you have a circle of friends and you can't be honest with them, or they can't be honest with you, if you find yourself having to tiptoe around certain topics or tiptoe around their feelings because of certain insecurities, and that could be on either side of this equation here, whether it's you, whether it's them, then that's not your circle. Somebody is not being a true friend. Somebody is not true in this friendship, and you need to find a new circle. Because we need to be able to tell the truth. We should be able to. It's important to be able to embrace an unfiltered honesty. Now, I'm not talking about crushing people's feelings. There's a way to present things. But I do want to say, sometimes in certain conversations and certain things that need to be said, you just cannot sugarcoat those things. There's a fine line in navigating, telling the truth, and potentially hurting someone's feelings, but you got to decide which is more important. Will they be able to get past that and get through that so that they can take that truth to better themselves? And there's a whole lot of society norms and expectations that we really need to have genuine and honest communication about. A lot of them. I mean, I feel like largely that's why we're out here and books are being banned in schools. History is really being erased in front of our eyes because certain truths is obviously hurting certain people's feelings. And we can't erase these facts and tiptoe around these facts and erase an entire culture of a people because of feelings. Are we that soft? Can we not handle the truth? Have we not been handling the truth all of this time? There's just several ways that you can look at it, personally and inside society. We got to be honest. And we're tiptoeing around talking about that as well. Because in a lot of our communities, in a lot of our school districts, we're not just seeing it on the news, but it's happening right in your backyard. And nobody's having the conversations. And beyond the conversations, what are we doing about it? And that's why I like to talk, because when we have these conversations, it leads us into an action that must be taken. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that friend who's not going to be able to tell somebody something that they need to hear. Like, are you that friend? You're talking to somebody. They might have a little, I don't know, they got something in their teeth. You're at lunch, they got something in their teeth. And you're uncomfortable to tell a person that. Like, really? Really? That's so small. That is so small and insignificant. You should be able to express that, and you should be able to tell someone that. You should be. Are you really in your feelings like that? I'm not that friend. People who know me, they know that I'm not that friend. I'd rather be a friend to you who's going to give you a piece of information that may be a little tough, but it's for the best. It is with love. And you're going to know that it's from love and that it is with love. I see we got Keep the Faith with Tori here. She says, my circle tells me the truth about everything. And she's grateful. You got to have that. Who wants people not to tell them the truth? Really? I don't want that in my life. There's certain things in certain ways that you got to balance it. So I know that. Trust me, I really get that. Navigating it can be very delicate. There's a delicate balance between honesty and potentially hurting others. It's a challenge. While honesty is genuinely and generally valued in friendships, you got to consider the impact of your words and the actions of your friends' emotions. There's some things that we have to consider and that we have to keep in mind. So in doing that, you have to be thoughtful. Thoughtfulness is very important when you're about to engage in a very honest conversation. Before speaking your mind, you've got to take a moment to consider the consequences. Right? And then you got to think about, what is your intention? What is your genuine intention? And are you genuinely helping your friend? Or are you simply just expressing your own opinion? Because there is a difference. If you're just expressing your own opinion, then I don't even consider that a truth bomb. So that's why you got to take a moment with yourself to be thoughtful. Thoughtfulness can guide you in finding the right balance in being honest and a little sensitive, and making sure you're putting your friend or whoever you're dealing with on the right path. And then you got to have some empathy, Put yourself in that person's shoes and try to understand how you might feel on hearing such honest thoughts. Because it's tough. Think about how you might feel. Empathy allows you to approach a difficult conversation with a little bit of compassion, some consideration. So think about that. I see we got Keep the Faith with Tori here again with a comment. She said, yes, you tell the truth. And she got a lot of exclamation marks up there and a whole lot of hands in the air. Yeah, I like to. I want to tell the truth. And I'm going to tell you something else. I want to be told the truth. I don't mind someone saying something that could potentially hurt my feelings. I want to hear it. I want to know. I want that opportunity to better myself. I want that opportunity to be better. Because I can take it. I can deal with it. I can analyze it. And I can get past that feeling of hurt. I'm not saying that things don't hurt my feelings. Please don't misunderstand that. But what I'm saying is I am willing to get over that because I want to be better. So tell me the truth. I see we got Malik Williams here in the building. He says, I have lost friends for being that friend. I had to learn to tread light. Not everyone can deal with brutal truth. I try now to shoot down the behavior and build them back up with what they are good at. Listen, I know where you're coming from. I too have really lost some friends because of being brutally honest. I have. But you know what? By that same token, in losing those friendships, it's not like I didn't care about it. But what I came to realize is I don't want to have a friend that I can't be honest with. I really don't. If I've got a hard truth that I have to share with you, I really don't want to be in a position to feel like I am holding my words back, that I am tiptoeing around the subject, that I'm walking on eggshells. Pretty much like how a lot of podcasters and how we are living right now in America, like we really have to think about some of the things we're saying. I find myself really thinking about every word that comes out of my mouth now. Now, I'm not reckless, and I've never been reckless with my mouth. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. It's not that. But it's just that so many people and so many things are changing in society until I can't even feel the freedom in my free speech. And that's very difficult for someone who is a content creator, who is on a podcast, who might be a personality, these pundits who are on television, journalists. You know, they really are walking a fine line. And it's difficult. Keep It Faith with Tori says, I lost friends too. They're lost. I will not co-sign your foolishness or toxicity. I got to agree with you here. And, you know, as I was saying, I have lost friends like that as well, just like yourself, Tori, and Malik. But I had to ask myself if it was worth it. And I say yes because, number one, I don't want to tiptoe around not saying what I have to say, especially if I believe that it's for the betterment, and particularly for the person that I'm talking to. So if you can't take that, then we can't have that conversation. I don't even know why we're friends. If I can't be honest with you, we don't even have much to talk about. And then you've got some healing to do. So I am willing to let that friendship go and allow them to go and heal themselves and take the time that they need. If you're looking for yes friends and people to be around you, to agree with everything that you say, then you're going to have to find that somewhere else. And that's a very dangerous dynamic to have. It really is, just in common life. That's very dangerous to have. And oftentimes we see people who are in the spotlights, who are celebrities and athletes and entertainers, and they have these people around them who are not telling them the truth. Who are not telling them, like, you can't do this, you can't say that, you're doing XYZ, and this is not cool. And we see it play out all the time. We're seeing it play out all the time. It's a different story and a different celebrity, but we know that they have to have the right people around them who are going to drop those truth bombs on them. I see Les Eccles in the building. How you doing, Les? Good to have you here with us this afternoon. He said, truth can be subjective. There's a stain on your shirt is an objective truth. You make me feel bad or you disrespected me can be subjective. And no one's obligated to respect anyone's opinion if it's not their truth. So maneuvering that thin line of truth and people's opinion is an issue. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that, Les. And I did say that, I felt like that was a fine line that we had to walk. Because you don't really want to be in a situation where this is just your opinion. This is just how you feel about it. You can't do that. Or when you do that, that's really going to be a little rocky situation and a rocky conversation that you're going to have. But you still got to be willing to have it. And if it is your friend, you should be willing to have it. I see Keep the Faith with Tori. She says, some friendships was costing me my peace. It was too expensive. Absolutely. If you can't be honest, I don't know why you're there. So in navigating that truth, we talked about being thoughtful. It's important to be thoughtful. You got to know what your true intention is when you're having this conversation. And you got to make sure that this is genuinely something to help this person and not simply you expressing your own opinions. So that's where that thoughtfulness comes in. You got to have a little bit of empathy. Try to put yourself in that person's shoes, how they feel or how you might feel being approached the way that you're approaching them and receiving the information that you are giving. How would you feel receiving that? And so in doing that, you've got to think about your timing. You got to think about your setting. So you've got to approach this situation at the right time, at the right place, and particularly when it's sensitive topics. You want to avoid public settings or times that your friend may not be ready or might be going through another challenging situation. So timing and setting is important. You got to create a safe environment. Make sure that it has some privacy. Make sure that wherever you're having this conversation, that you have the space that you can foster a more open and receptive environment for that honest conversation. So it really isn't about just dropping truth bombs. Yeah, you're telling the truth, but you got to do it in a particular way. You have to. I see we've got Amina here with us in the conversation in the chat. She said, be impeccable with your words. The First Amendment. I love being around those who enable me to be impeccable with my words, knowing that I can be truthful, as well as them checking me when I'm unknowingly wrong. It helps us all. I love honest people who are skillful with truth. The truth should never be weaponized. However, I'm learning to work on how I receive truth. Unhealed ears take truth the wrong way. Oh, wow. There's a lot of good things in this. This is a very thoughtful comment here. And there's a lot in here that we can dissect. She's right. You got to be impeccable with your words. You've got to know when you can be truthful. You've also got to be able to be checked when you feel like you're giving this truth, when you're dropping your truth bomb. You've got to be able to be checked just in case you're wrong. Being honest, she says here, I love honest people who are skillful with truth. And I like that because there is a skill involved here. The truth should never be weaponized. Y'all hear that? Thanks for that comment, Amina. You've got a lot in there that I feel like people can read that comment, if you heard the comment, and digest that. I see Les Echoes here says, also, people got to stop automatically having love and respect for people who say what they feel. That doesn't make it okay. Remember, we ended up with a whole president who said what he felt while telling over 30,000 lies. Listen, you're right, man. You're right. There is a difference. You know, I like that a lot. I want to read that again. Les says we've also got to, people got to stop automatically having love and respect for people who say what they feel. He's got that in quotes, say what they feel, because there's a difference. Saying what you feel may not be the truth. So I got to agree with him here. Just because you feel it doesn't make it someone else's truth. Thanks for the comment here. I see we got Keep the Faith with Tori. She said, yes, you hear different when you're not healed. You do. When you're hurt, when you're in that pain or in the thick of whatever it is that's going on, you may not want to hear that. It hurts. You're in the hurt. You're not healed. So it definitely rings a little bit differently. I see Makia, we got her in the building here. How you doing, lady? She says, amen. Gotta agree with that. Gotta agree. Mary Fonda Hines here with us. She says, being honest may not get you many friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. All right, John Lennon. I gotta agree with you. You don't want to have friends who you cannot communicate with or openly communicate with the truth, with your truth, and also with your feelings. Because if it is a true relationship and friendship, if you are off course and you consider yourself the one telling the truth, definitely you should be one who can receive truth. And that conversation, that whole thing is going to go both ways. I see we got Malik Williams here. He said, I hate the term their truth. That's that defense mechanism behavior. Your truth is usually followed by toxic behavior that doesn't want to be changed. Not all the time, but in my experience, it's usually unhealed ears, like the Queen says. It's like playing chess. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're on the same page here, guys. We're definitely on the same page. So let's talk about how we're delivering this thing again. We're delivering it with some thoughtfulness, with some empathy. We're understanding that there is a time and there's a place for this. The time and setting that you choose to discuss sensitive topics is important. And then let's think about constructive criticism. When we're offering feedback or expressing concerns, focus on being constructive rather than just being critical. Y'all hear that? We got to focus on being constructive rather than just being purely critical. You got to frame your honesty in a way that highlights your care. How are you supporting your friend's growth and well-being? That's going to show with your words. That's going to show how you chose to have the conversation, where you chose to have the conversation. And when you're delivering this truth, let's understand something too. It is a conversation. So you've got to be an active listener. Active listening is a part of this as well. You can't just feel like you're about to have a difficult conversation and tell your truth and feel like you're not going to listen. Being a good friend involves not only expressing your thoughts, but actively listening to your friend's perspective. It's about having a dialogue where both parties are felt, both parties are heard. You got to allow for a mutual understanding. And then you got to have that opportunity to find some type of common ground. Keep It Faithful Tori says, when you need healing, you find everything offensive or as an attack. Woo. Malik Williams says, church, listen. That's true. It happens. It happens. A lot of the times when people are in these stages, and we know it, we know this because of our own feelings, because of our own. When we're healing, we do find things that are offensive. We may feel like we're under attack. But you got to realize you're not being a good friend. You can't feel attacked. No one's telling you to take brutal attack. No, not at all. But be willing. Be willing to listen. We've got to respect boundaries, guys. Understand and respect your friends' boundaries when it comes to discussing certain topics. Not every aspect of their life is really open for discussion. And you got to acknowledge that. And you have to honor their comfort levels. If you are a friend, you will know these things. I want to say that again. Respect boundaries. Understanding and respecting your friends' boundaries when it comes to discussing certain topics is very, very important. And not every aspect of their life is really open for discussion. You've got to know what parts of their life is not open for discussion with you. You've got to know that. It's crucial to know that. And honor their comfort levels. See, being a friend involves more than just being brutally honest. It's about finding that balance between truthfulness and consideration for your friend's feelings. That's what it is. I see we got Makia in the building again. She says, my issue recently has been always understanding others without considering what I know to be true. Let me read that again so that I can really get a full understanding of what you're saying here. I don't want to misunderstand it. My issue recently has been always understanding others without considering what I know to be true. That's tricky. That's tricky there. Because if someone is living through or by a false narrative and you are basically coddling their feelings, I don't see that being a good conversation. I don't see the room for having an open and honest conversation. That is going to be difficult. That has to be difficult, you know? I see Malik says, I pose the truth as a question to my loved ones. I allow them to convict themselves through the answers. For example, how is that going to get you closer to your goal? Or, how do you really feel about what you're doing? Or, if I told you I was hurt by something you're doing, would it be a problem? It's those little setup questions that will let you know how to move forward. I like it. And I got to tell you, I use some of those tactics as well. I mean, those are very good conversation that'll guide you. If you want to get some guidance in the conversation, I like that. Put some questions in there. Figure out where they are. You kind of know where they are for that day, where their mindset is. So I get you. I got you. Keep the faith with Tori says, Makia, that's good. I understand what she means. Okay. All right. So y'all get it. Keep the faith also says she loves what you said there, Malik. And I think we all have to agree, you really get some guidance when you're able to ask some of those questions, when you're able to, just say, hey, how's this going to get you closer to your goal? Ask those questions. Ask them if what was another question he said here? How do you really feel about what you're doing? Those are good questions. And there's no reason why you can't ask a person a question. They're either going to answer honestly, they're going to kind of dance around it. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? But what are some examples of friendships or situations that you guys feel like the principles of navigating honesty and potentially hurting their feelings? What are some of those situations where something like this really applies? What are you guys thinking? Because when we're giving constructive criticism, like if your friend is working on a creative project and they ask your opinion, how do you navigate that instead of just like going right in and just outright criticizing their work? Do you offer constructive feedback? You highlight like some of the aspects of what you appreciate about what they're doing? Are you making suggestions in areas for improvement? Like how do you approach that? Particularly when you have friends who are artists, when creativity is involved, when honestly, it's about opinions because, it's subjective. It's art, So whether you like it or not is one thing, particularly when it comes to, any kind of art. I won't say one particular art, but it could be in photography, music, writing. Do you like their podcasts? You got to be able to tell them. Y'all got to be able to tell me. Y'all got to tell me, like, MsTonya, you know what? We understand you trying to do this podcast and everything, but it kind of sucked. Maybe you can, go here. Maybe you can think about this. I am open to everything. I'm ready for people to tell me that. And in fact, I have a book out, The Little Black Book of Poetry. And when I initially put the book out, I got a lot of feedback. I got people who were appreciating what I did. And of course, all of the people around you, typically people who are close to you and who love you, they are, they're happy for you. They're giving you all of the good stuff. But I was waiting for the criticisms. Like, I wanted to hear the things that people didn't like about it, because that's very valuable information to me. I want to know. Like, I want people to tell me what they don't like about the podcast. I want to know the things that they don't like, because that might be something that I need to visit. That could be something that I need to fix. And if I can't fix it, then I have to know, okay, well, this is not my lane. Let me find where my lane is. You shouldn't be afraid of that. I see we got Jennifer Holloway in the building. How you doing, lady? Good to have you here. She said, hey, fam, just tuning in. Well, it's good to have you in here. I see Malik here. He says alcoholism. That is a very touchy topic to bring up with a friend, a loved one, a family member. But you know what? That is tough. Like, I asked the question, like, what was an example of a situation we have where we have to navigate honesty and potentially hurting someone's feelings? And Malik put alcoholism. That's tough. And particularly when it's someone we love. And that could be a parent, a mate, a spouse, someone just very close in our life. And we see that they're doing something that destroys them. And they're not receptive. They're not really listening to what you have to say, but you can't be a friend like that. They make it difficult for you to be a friend. And because now they're making you an enabler. And you've got to decide if it's worth it. If they're not listening, wow, that's a tough one. And I've been in that situation, and I'm sure many adult people have probably been in that situation. Drugs as well, alcoholism and drugs. People who have bad habits of smoking or things that are detrimental to their health, and we're watching them do it. People who have certain health issues, but they're not aligning their diet with their health issues. They make it difficult to be a friend to them. Because if you got a friend who has diabetes, they've already had some amputation, but they're still drinking Pepsis and Coke, they're making it hard to be around them. Because you want to know, and you want to ask them, like, why are you drinking sodas? You have a problem. Why are you eating this? You have some issues that you can't do that. Or you shouldn't be doing that, So some people make it really difficult to be their friend, particularly when they have certain issues revolving around their health or around particular habits that are going to lead to health problems. I see Malik also says passive aggressive behavior. Absolutely. That's definitely another one, man. Keep the Faith with Tori. She says, I offer suggestions and I do it in a loving way. I choose my words carefully. And that's how we got to do it. That's what being a good friend is about. Jennifer Holloway says, I give feedback or other opinions on whatever they're working on. I tell people at the time, correct me on something that isn't right. I'm very big on accepting feedback, rather if it's good or bad, because whatever the information is will help me grow. I got to agree with you, Jennifer. I'm like that too. I want to receive that feedback. And a lot of times I think it's important when we're receiving feedback that is critical, that we not necessarily receive it as negative, that we not necessarily receive it as someone looking to hurt our feelings. I just think we're stronger than that. Or at least I think we should be stronger than that. Right? Malik Williams says, truth is what makes us great. If we can deal with it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jennifer Holloway says, Walter Pierce tells me all the time when something isn't right about my pictures. And it's the way he delivers the message. He doesn't make me feel bad about what he's saying. And at the times, he can be very direct, but I take his feedback and apply it to my next shoot. Great. Walter's a really great guy, really great photographer. Love Walter so much. And definitely that is his personality. And that's what you want. You know, when you have peers who are in the same craft that you are in, and they're offering you tips, and you can share tips, and they're kind of putting you on a path to make your work better, that's a good thing. But I tell you something, only people who are secure with themselves and who are secure in their works are going to be able to do that, and who are going to be able to deliver that with an honesty. Now, I got to tell you something. Sometimes there will be people who you won't criticize their work because you feel like they won't take it well. You might not be the person that they take that well from. And so you leave it alone. But then that also goes to show that that isn't your friend. It's just an acquaintance. And there's a difference. I see Makia says, I discern how passionate they are about their art and determine if my opinion is really needed or if it's more so a boost of motivation. If they ask for my opinion, I assume they value my opinion. I like that. I like that. Because when it comes to art, definitely it is subjective. Definitely we all have our own taste and likeness, and our opinions are heavily involved. However, we do know some people who need a little help, need a little assistance, need a little more practice, need to get better. And I like what you said here. You said, if they ask for my opinion, then I give it. You make sure you know that they value your opinion. So I like the fact that you said that, because that shows right there. They want to know. They want that truth. And I think that's a good way to look at it. Thanks for sharing that, Makia. Also, Les Echoes says, let's be honest. Most people don't want outright truth. They want you to tell them what they want or need to hear. People are terrible with constructive criticism. At the end of the day, we mostly see them as a person with their own issues trying to tell you what to do. People want you to tweak them, not change them. You're right, man. You're right. You're absolutely right. Some people can't handle the truth. That's why I asked the question, can you handle the truth? Can you handle it? Not everybody can handle the truth. Not everybody wants to hear the truth. Not everybody is able to deliver the truth. Like I said, some people are going to sugarcoat things. They're going to tiptoe around it. But some people are just gonna give you a truth. And whether it's their truth, your truth, or truth that needs to be heard, well, you can determine that. But I also find that there's value in hearing people's opinion. I see Amina here. She says, each individual truth may be different. It reminds me of food. We have whole foods, which are more organic and are real truths. Then there are these individual subjective truths that are more like food products. It may have some parts of the truth in it, but it isn't. The truth, whole truth, like Makia, I'm learning to allow people to have their truth unless it's too detrimental. In that case, I try to share the overall truth in love while knowing I can't force truth on anyone they will accept. Yeah. I detect no lies here. You're absolutely right. People are going to allow you to tell them something and you're going to know. You're going to feel it. You can feel the energy as well. You're going to read the body language. You know. Jennifer Holloway says, Les Eccles, I'd rather be outright truth. Don't sugarcoat with nothing with me. I feel you, Jennifer. I kind of feel that way as well. I like to think that I have a tough skin. Now, when I say that, I very well don't mean that I don't feel anything. It doesn't mean that my feelings aren't hurt or they can't be hurt. They can be, but I'm willing to get over it, particularly if I know that it is something that I can sit down with and evaluate it and it can make me better. I'll take it. I'll take that. Right? I see Les here. He says, ideal, but in most cases, not realistic. I'm realistic and it gets me in trouble. I hear you, man. Yes, I hear you. It can get you in trouble. Les also says to Jennifer that at the end of the day, it's still my opinion. You're right. You're right. At the end of the day, it's still going to be an opinion. But that doesn't mean that it's not an opinion that should be heard. That doesn't mean that it's not an opinion that shouldn't be voiced. You know? Jennifer Holloway, she also says, most definitely, I'm glad I got him on my side. I thank God that I know how to receive feedback with feelings away. Some people don't know how to deliver feedback because their personality is strong. But you have to be open-minded in this world to a poet, negative and positive feedback. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm here for it. Makia says, that's good, sissy. She's talking to Amina. I like the way you guys are in here interacting with each other. That's what we're here for. We're here to have these conversations. Jennifer Holloway says, I'm glad I know how to receive feedback. I got you without getting in my feelings, especially when it comes to my craft. Don't be gentle with me because I'm not going to be gentle with you if you ask me for my honest feedback. I'm going to support regardless, but I'm not about to allow you to be out here looking crazy. See, Jennifer, that last part that you said here, I like everything that you said, but that last piece is the motivation for me. I want to support you, but I don't want to have you out here looking crazy. And that's what I want from someone too. I'd like your support, but I don't want you to allow me to be out here being, looking crazy. Like, I'm not a person who thinks my shit doesn't stink. Okay? It's not smelling like roses. Okay? And it's not supposed to. So I want to know. I want to know. Tell me. And like we say, there's a way that you tell people certain things. There's ways that you do it. We can do this. We can do it with respect and with thoughtfulness. A little bit of empathy. Knowing the right place and time. Understanding and really knowing what constructive criticism is and knowing how to frame it. That's important. And listening to them. And I don't mean just waiting for them to respond to what you have said, but listening to their whole body. Watch the body language. Look at the eyes. You know what a person is feeling and you know where you have taken them with your words by watching their body language. And that might be able to have you reconstruct what you are saying and just kind of put a little empathy in that delivery, Make you respect their boundaries, okay? Knowing if you need to go further with the conversation, if you just need to cut it off because they're just not open to it right now. They're not open to the discussion and they're really not comfortable. You can tell when a person is not comfortable. They don't even have to utter a word. So pay attention to the whole conversation. It's about more than hearing the words. Watch the body language. Y'all hear that? It's about more than words. Pun intended. Makia says, I suggest a prayer. So I ask God to prepare them to receive the truth because I don't always know what the blockage is. Well, that's being a friend. And if that prepares you and if that works for you, I certainly can see how that could help. And I support that. Keep the Faith with Tori says, Jennifer, exactly. I said that I don't want people out here looking crazy. No one does. Les Eccles says here, we may need another call to define what truth is versus subjective opinions. See, I agree with you. You're not wrong. It's definitely going to be, that could be a topic for another day. But I think we know. I think when we know to sit down and if we are motivated to tell someone what we subjectively may think is a truth, okay, there's a reason for that. Because I can't imagine you're just walking around feeling like you just want to stomp on people's feelings and emotions. Let's be realistic. Most people aren't out here doing that, but there are some. There are some. Their motives and their intentions are not in the right place. But we're going to know that too. But if a situation comes up and you feel it like in your gut that you need to have that conversation, you're not feeling that for, selfish reasons. You're not. Not if they're your friend, not if it's a loved one or someone who is close to you. So don't be so tough on ourselves of saying, okay, well, the truth is subjective. We know that. But if that's the case, we're never going to be having any of these conversations. We're not going to be having these conversations because then we're saying like, no, people can't handle the truth. And that goes to say, like I said, we're talking about it in the boundaries of friendships and people who are close to us. But look at the truths that we are ignoring and dealing with right now in society. Look at how books are being banned because we are so concerned with people's feelings. There are facts that are being taken out of schools, books that are being banned in schools, and we're educating in a different way. Schools are being closed because of feelings, because someone does not feel a particular way in hearing a truth. That's a problem. That is a serious problem. People cannot handle the truth. I don't know how we've come to this. And I know you guys see it. It's not just me. I see Les here. He says, you can have siblings and families define what truth was in their household totally differently. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we're different people. We're going to receive things differently. That's understandable. So I guess it's just going to come down to what? Just allow people to be fuck-ups. Don't worry about it. They'll learn. They'll get it. They'll find out on their own. It's not my responsibility to tell them. Well, how do you navigate that when it's your children? How do you do that? When do you decide as a parent if your truth is subjective? I think that's a good question. If anybody like to answer that, let me know how you might feel on that. If you happen to be a parent, what are you thinking? I see Jennifer says, no, for real. Some people really can't handle the truth. I be having so many questions when I see someone that can't take the truth. Yeah. Because everybody want to be right. Everybody want to feel like they're the best. And when you feel that way, you leave no room for growth. Like, how do you feel like you're the best at something and that there's no room for growth? Like, you make no error. I don't know. I just don't know. I see Les here. He says, you are correct. For example, Black Lives Matter. It's our truth, not theirs. Absolutely. It is a truth. It is a truth. And it is a conversation and it is a framework and there is an education around that doesn't necessarily have to be banned. It's okay to hear something that is not your truth. It's okay. You will be all right, but it does not take the truth away from it. But we can't ignore it. We can't pretend it didn't happen. We can't erase a culture. But we're watching that happen. because people can't handle the truth. That's horrible. There's just no other way around it than saying like that is straight horrible. And we should be able to. I like the examples that you guys are putting here in the chat. I mean, I see that you're being very thoughtful, you know. Definitely people want to have friends like that. People want to have friends like you. But we've got a whole lot of social norms going on right now that I feel like could benefit from some truth bombs. It could benefit from these truth bombs and us having honest discussions. And there's a whole lot of things that we could discuss in society that could use truth bombs. I mean, it would take us into a totally different conversation, but definitely one that we should have. Some of those things are, you know, just to kind of throw some things out there for topics for a conversation that we can have in the future. Just like beauty standards. Like who decided what the beauty standards were? Like our truth isn't going to be their truth, right? That's a truth bomb that we can talk about when we're talking about gender and gender roles, and we're talking about mental health stigmas. We could talk about relationship norms. There's just so many things that we could talk about that are our individual truths. But they're conversations that need to be had. The education system, right? The traditional education system, like how they emphasize a standardized way of testing and comfortability, but they're neglecting a whole lot of individual people and talents and personal growths. And then, like I said, and I'll say it again because we need to have the conversation. How they're really banning books and changing the way young people are being educated. It's just like how many years ago, like when libraries were being burned. For a reason, because there was information in there that somebody didn't want out. It's just today they aren't literally lighting the libraries on fire, but they're banning the books. Same concept. Same concept. But we're going to talk about it. We can have the conversation. We definitely can. All right, guys. Thank you for having this conversation with me today. Can you handle the truth? Well, I think we know not everyone can. Not everybody can handle the truth. And that might be too bad. It's not going to make for a great society. It won't. We will not benefit from not having honest conversations. We got to have them. But we can do it in a compassionate way. We can do it in an inclusive way. Everybody has a point of view. So let's sit down, let's have conversations, let's spark conversations, because conversations spark movements. Yeah? Well, it's almost time for you guys to get back on that clock. It's a noontime, lunchtime podcast. Make it make sense Monday. We got to make these things make sense. We absolutely do. And I enjoyed sharing this a little bit of time with you today. We're going to take some of our time back. That's what we did. That's exactly what we did. So hear this. Before we get out of here, let's just kind of brush some of this stuff off. Let's do a little breath work. You get back into your day. Enjoy your day. If there's a truth that you need to share, think about it. Think about how you're going to deliver it. Pay attention to the body language. Pay attention. All right? All right, y'all. Let's do some breath work. Inhale to the count of 4. Hold that a few seconds. Exhale. Hold that a few seconds. Inhale again. Hold a few seconds. Exhale. And hold that a few seconds. Inhale one more time. Hold a few seconds. And exhale. Yeah. And don't you feel great? I feel great. I appreciate you guys. And if nobody gave you a smile today, if nobody smiled today, you just close your eyes and give yourself a big smile and see how that feels for you. All right? Y'all be great out here. That's what we do. One love, y'all.